Beginning flute players. I like to help you with the blowing of your flute. And sometimes you'll notice you can't get a good sound, so I thought we'd work on that. This is an older flute, so it doesn't have the greatest sound, but it will help you learn how to blow the mouthpiece. So you take the mouthpiece off of your flute and work on that first. I like to hold both sides so it's easier to maneuver back and forth to get the right sweet spot. So you'll notice your chin has a little indentation here. And this flute mouthpiece has an outer indentation. So it goes right here, perfect for your mouthpiece, okay? So you roll in and out till you find the right sweet spot. Now notice I didn't get the right sound at first because my mouth was not even. It may have been over here or over here. It wasn't even with the mouthpiece. So you got to find that right spot. Some people use it, the mouthpiece whole, and roll it outward to find the spot. Now that worked for me. All right, now putting your flute together, it was simple. We already learned that, but cleaning it, we did not. So let's go ahead and talk about how to clean your flute. Now, you may have to ask your dad for an old handkerchief that he doesn't use anymore, or they have these at stores where you can buy just a handkerchief. Otherwise, I like to go to C&L Music because they have someone who makes these cute, wonderful cleaners that have cool cats on them, if you can see that. Really fun. And different patterns. And it's just the right size where it won't get stuck in your flute. So inside your flute case, you'll find a rod that looks like a needle. It has a hole in it on the end. You place the corner of that handkerchief in that hole, and then you take your flute mouthpiece and you go inside of it with the rod back and forth. Then you know it's clean. We don't want to have a lot of water build up in there and get dirty. The second part is this part here, and you want to make sure you're careful when you go in and out of that as well. I go both ends so that it's really clean. The importance of this is that water buildup can leak out into these pads, and these pads, I don't know if you can see them, they actually have to close completely to make a sound. And if they get wet a lot, they can get loose and then they can fall out, and then you have to replace all your pads, and that can get pricey. So we want to save money on that. The last piece, the end piece, in and out on that one. Just make sure it's all clean. And another thing, when you do put your flute together, make sure that you make sure that the hole of the mouthpiece is in line with the first pad or button right here. Otherwise, it's not going to play right. Okay? And then this end, when you place the end piece, you go ahead and you put it so that it lines up, the ridge lines up to the bottom button. Now, I noticed that sometimes putting the end piece on can be hard, and that's because dirt gets inside there, and sometimes this doesn't catch it. So what I do is I take a Kleenex and I get a little spritzer bottle, and I fill it with half alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and water, and I spray the tissue, not the flute, because you don't want to get those pads wet, right? So I clean the end. You can see how dirty this is right here, and that's what's making it hard to put together. So I just rub just that part, not the pads, nothing there, just that part back and forth until it's nice and clean. And then, oh yeah, nice and dirty. Okay, then when I want to put this back in, it's easier. It just goes right in. Boom, it's done. You may have to do that with your mouthpiece as well. Sometimes mouthpieces are hard to get in. They get stuck. So again, don't spray the mouthpiece. You can, because I've sprayed the mouthpiece when I have to play and make sure it's clean. But I would prefer to clean the tissue so I get used to good habits. All right. And then I rub really hard on this part. You can see the coloring change. Okay. Rub really hard to get any kind of dirt that's there off. And then that's a little cleaner. Then try and put it in. You go back and forth. Notice that I try not to press the buttons hard when I'm going in and out, so I don't bend any keys. So that comes in and out much easier now. All right? Happy practicing.